Well, hey everybody, Mr. Mac here with another chapter of Restart. Chapter 5 today. When we left the book last, we were in chapter 4, and Brendan Espinoza, it was his chapter. Chase was in it too, but we saw yet another person who has felt the effects of Chase pre-accident, before the accident. Chase the bully, Chase the troublemaker, evidently, and his football buddies. You know, we know Aaron and Bear, and it looks like the other football people too, football guys, that they're, maybe not all a bunch of bullies, but we certainly know Chase was. We certainly know Bear and Aaron probably, certainly, were too. Anyway, we met Brendan Espinoza, videographer, kind of making YouTube videos, making fun of the apex predators of the lion's den, where the troublemaker, bullyish students sit and have their lunch. So, but he was incredibly surprised when Chase brought his lunch over and asked to sit at his table. Remember, Chase has no idea of his other life. So he sat with Brendan for a while, and Brendan, against his better judgment, I guess, actually helped him because, he had his arm in a sling, Chase did. Helped him cut his meat and the steak or whatever, probably not steak if it was school food. And things were going well until, of course, the other football players came over, and Brendan ended up on the floor with his chair on top of him, and the other football players trying to get Chase away from that table and back over to the lion's den. Anyway, the chapter ended with the chair being lifted off of Brendan, and who was the one doing the lifting but Chase himself. So, I'm feeling for Chase, but I'm also feeling for everyone who has been affected by Chase pre-accident. I feel for the victims, but I'm also feeling for Chase too. No one is born to hate. No one's born a bully. It's a learned behavior, and you learn to become a bully, and there's all kinds of situations that can mold someone into being a bully. But Chase, think about it. It's like he's been reborn again. Principal Fitzwallace, Dr. Fitzwallace, kind of said that. Let him know this is your time to make a fresh start, to begin from the ground up. It's like he's being born again, and he doesn't have it within him to hate or be violent or be a bully. That was something that was learned, that would have been part of his memory system. So anyway, that's that for that. So let's get into this, and we're chapter 5, and this is in Chase's perspective here, his point of view. Every time I see a little girl, it brings me back to the one from my memory. Remember that from the little blonde girl? The blonde girl with the blue dress trimmed with white lace. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe when you only remember one thing, it sticks with you. If only I could remember where I remember her from. I think of her again when I see the little kid on the monkey bars at the playground. It's my first day without the sling in more than a month. And since forever, in a way, because I remember nothing before the accident. I'm out walking, enjoying my freedom from the tight wrapping on my shoulder. Feels fine, normal. I need that after 2 weeks of school that were anything but. Normal is the last word to describe a place where you're a stranger in a strange land, despite the fact that everyone else knows you. I just can't imagine not knowing anything or anyone, and yet everywhere you go, everyone knows you. It's very strange. It would be very strange. And that's when I recognized the girl scrambling all over the jungle gym. It's Helene, my half-sister. She's definitely high energy and really kind of cute. Crawling through the tunnels, whizzing down the slides, and just as quickly climbing up again. She's a little too wild, especially when she's way up there, way up top. I guess she's too young to understand that falling on your head runs in the family. Just as that thought crosses my mind, she loses her grip, tumbles off the top of the twisty slide. I'm there like a shot, catching her and swinging her around like it's part of the game. She squeals in exhilaration, spreading her arms and gets into the spirit of things, and I do too, and I'm making airplane noises. She's loving it. I'm doubly thrilled because my shoulder's holding up fine. The two of us are having a great time until she looks down and sees who's got her. Mommy! Her scream carries all around the park. Helene, it's okay. It's me, Chase, your brother. I want to go down. Now she's red in the face and she's crying. I set her on the ground and watch as she runs off to join Corinne, who's hustling our way. Great. Dad's family already has a problem with me, and now they're going to think I've been terrorizing their daughter. Sorry, I mumble. I didn't mean to scare her. It's all right. I saw it happen. Thank you for catching her. There's nothing wrong with what she's saying. You know, Corinne's trying to be nice. It's really the way she says it. It's a bit too polite, too distant, like I'm a stranger instead of her stepson. Helene has her face buried in her mother's sweater and refuses to look at me. I guess she doesn't like me very much, I say. Corinne softens. Well, she's just a little bit afraid of you. Afraid of me? What could I have done that would make a 4-year-old freak out every time I come near her? Before I can finish the thought, a loud horn honks. A panel truck pulls up to the curb. Ambrose Electric is stenciled on the side. Now we know who this is. The driver's side window rolls down and my dad sticks his head out. Fire up the grill at 5:30, Cor. I'm bringing home the biggest steaks you've ever seen. And he catches sight of me. Hey, champ, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be at practice. And I wave. Doctor's orders, remember? Can't. Your arm's fine. Yeah, pretty good. But it's not my arm. It's, the concussion. He looks disgusted. Doctors. They'll keep you in bubble wrap the rest of your life if you let them. Well, how about dinner then? I'll bet you could use a good steak. You're not going to get through your strength back with that rabbit food your mom's slinging at you. Thanks, Dad, some other time. And I hesitate. Oh, I saw your championship picture on the principal's wall. I didn't know. I mean, I knew at some point, I guess, but... And he laughs with delight. There's a lot of athletes out there, but only a few of us can make it rain. There's something special about Ambrose men, champ. Don't let your mother coddle you out of it like she did your brother. And then he drives off, his truck backfiring as he pulls away from the curb. Bye, Daddy, calls Helene. Bye, Helene, I say to her. And as soon as we make eye contact, she looks away. Time jump. I'm definitely famous at Hiawassee Middle. The part I can't figure out is whether I'm famous good or famous bad. Well, I think we kind of have an idea. We're only in the 5th chapter, but I think he's kind of famous maybe both ways. Championship athlete in addition to being a schmuck, a bully. I don't know. The athletic program is my home here, or at least it was before I got hurt. All my friends seem to be jocks, mostly football players. I guess they were pretty worried when they heard about my accident. I pick up on the occasional grumbling that I have to miss the season, but mostly people are just relieved that I'm okay. The Hiawassee Hurricanes are kind of the kings of the school. It's a pretty good role to come out of a coma and fall straight into, I guess. And since I'm the former captain, I'm almost like king of the kings. And to be honest, though, it's hard to picture how I got along with them so well. They're loud, kind of obnoxious, and even though they're really tight, they spend a lot of time shoving and punching each other. Insults constantly fly between them. They probably don't mean it, but it can get pretty ugly. Was I like that too when I was, me? Did I greet my closest friends by pointing out imaginary stains on their shirts, so I could slap their faces? Did I insult their moms, their grandmothers, and their grandmothers' grandmothers? Probably. Even so, that was then and this is now. I've lost a step, maybe because of my concussion. I can't keep up with those guys anymore. Aaron and Bear shield me from the worst of it. Dudes, they'll say, dial it down. Our boy's injured. Or they'll step in front of me to absorb a friendly punch on a forearm smash. I appreciate their help. Still, it doesn't change the fact that I'm not the Chase I used to be. I almost wish they'd stop trying to protect me. I hate being weak. The other guys are treating me like I'm strong. I'm not. I get that. But maybe I can fake it until my strength does come back. In the end, Aaron and Bear stress me out more than any of the others because they ask me all these questions. What do you remember? Is your memory coming back yet? When does the doctor say that it could happen? When will you be your old self again? Huh? That made me think of something. Remember a couple chapters back, Aaron and Bear, when we first met them, they said they needed to talk to Chase, and they took him into the atrium to sit on a bench alone, away from the other crowd, like they had something to talk with him about. And then that's when Chase told him he had amnesia. And now Chase is telling us that these guys are getting on their nerves, Aaron and Bear. They're constantly saying, do you remember anything? Tell me what you remember. What's the last thing you remember? When did the doctor say you're... All these questions. Something's up. Something's up. Bear and Aaron and Bear, whatever. Something's happened. They know something. And I think Chase was involved with it. That's my feeling. That's what I'm thinking. Since I've got nothing else to offer them, I describe the one memory I do have, the little girl in the blue dress. They listened with great concentration. And, Aaron prompts, eyes wide. That's it. That's the only thing I remember. But who is she? Bear persists. Where did you see her? I shrug. I don't know. That's all I got. They stare at me for a long moment and then both burst out laughing. I'm annoyed. It's not funny. Don't you think I'd tell you more if I had more to tell? Do you know what the word amnesia means? Relax. Aaron puts an arm around my shoulders. We got your back. Boys to the end. Aside from the football players, most of the kids act kind of odd around me. Conversations end when I enter a room. Faces turn towards lockers as I make my way down the hall. I get that the whole school's heard the story of my amnesia and they're a little weirded out by me. But that doesn't explain everything. This one girl who's pushing a rolling cart of textbooks, when she sees me walking next to her, her eyes just about pop out of her head like... She spins away and slams into the wall of a doorway alcove. Books go flying in all directions. She trips on one and starts to go down, so I grab her arm just to steady her. And then she really loses it. Don't! She squeals so loudly that we're the instant center of attention. I'm mystified. Let me help you. Let me help. Let me help you pick those up. No. And then suddenly she's gone, practically running along the corridor, dropping even more books as she leaves, more like as she escapes. What did I do? I asked Aaron and Bear about it after school, and they treat it like the stupidest question ever. What do you care if a bunch of random nobodies don't like you? Bear demands. Who cares? It's not that, I tell them. She was scared. Where did that come from? The two exchange a glance. So Bear and Aaron, when Chase says to, and see, this tells, we're getting a lot of great clues here. When he says, the girl was scared, where did that come from? Aaron and Bear look at each other like, they know stuff. The two exchange a glance. Man, you really did lose your memory, didn't you? Aaron comments. Come on, guys. Please, talk to me. Bear is impatient. We don't have time. Why? I query. There's no practice today. We got to be at the Graybeard Motel by 3:30. What's the Graybeard Motel? We've still got 2 months left on our community service, Bear supplies. At the assisted living place on Portland Street, helping out with the geezers and the grandmas. Not everybody's lucky enough to fall off a roof and get excused. I'm on community service? I may not remember much, but I know what community service. I know it isn't like getting a detention at school. It's something you're ordered to do in a court by a judge. My God, what did I do? I struggle to sound casual. The last thing I want to do is come across like a wimp to my two best friends. What did we do to get sentenced? And I nearly choke on the word, to community service. It was no big deal, Aaron scoffs. We planned a couple of cherry bombs and a piano at open house. It was awesome. Cops are such sticklers about property damage, like there's a great piano shortage in the world or something. So we got, and I'm nonchalant, but it takes some doing. So we got arrested. We have to go, Bear insists. Yeah, Aaron faces me. Listen, man, I know it bugs you that you can't remember anything about yourself before the accident. Let me fill you in on some of the details. Our boy Chase isn't the kind of kid to get bent out of shape about a bunch of idiots overreacting to a few firecrackers. We did what we did, and we got in trouble for it. End of story. End of story, I echo, speaking carefully, almost as if trying it on for size. I mean, nobody got hurt, so what's the big deal? Bear snickers. Yeah, right. Nobody. The problem with Hiawassee, Aaron goes on, is that everybody's jealous of us. I don't blame them. We do what we want. Nobody messes with us. Even the adults are jealous because when they were kids, they were probably losers too. So when Fitzwallace or some judge gets a chance to slap us down, they go hard, since it's the only revenge they're ever going to get. You can't take it personally. I nod in agreement. It's kind of not fair. Bear grins. Sometimes I cry myself to sleep at night just thinking of all the injustice of it all. I laugh. Aaron and Bear wouldn't cry if you jammed flaming bamboo under their fingernails. They're the toughest guys in the world. Thanks for being straight with me, I tell them, and mean it. My own mother kept me in the dark about this. I don't know what she's thinking. Maybe that if I can remember it, maybe that if I can't remember it, then it never happened. Aaron shrugs. I don't know. It's a mom thing. They're all the same. If it's fun, it must be bad, right? My dad warned me about that, I admit. He said I shouldn't let her coddle me. Your dad is the man, Bear exclaims. He was part of the best football team ever to come out of this place. Next to ours, I mean. When you come back, we're going to wreck. That pulls me up short. Bear knows as well as anybody that I'm out for the season. It makes me wonder, should I be? Dad doesn't think so. It's Mom, the coddler, who took Dr. Cooperman's word for it. How much should I put my trust in her? She's the one who tried to hide a pretty major part of my past from me. If it wasn't for Aaron and Bear, I might never have figured it out. Who knows what else she's holding back? Time jump. When Mom gets home from work that day, I'm there at the front door to throw it in her face. Where did you get off? She looks totally bewildered. I forge on. You were so devastated when I got amnesia, but not so devastated to pass up a little editing job on my life. Editing job? Don't you think I have the right to know that Aaron and Bear and I were arrested and sentenced to community service, Mom? She doesn't answer right away. She sets her bag down, shrugs out of her jacket, walks to the living room, and collapses wearily into a chair. At last, she says, you've just been through an awful ordeal, Chase. How can it help your recovery if I tell you a lot of things that are just going to upset you? Things, I echo. You mean there are more? How many other nice little stories have you been keeping away from me, Mom? She seems genuinely sad. I'll love you and support you through the end of the world, son. You know that. I've always seen the good in you, Chase. And I believe that's the person you really are deep down. But son, you've had your moments. I have a sickening vision of faces turning away from me in school, of kids shrinking back at my approach, fear in their body language. I think of that crazy girl who was angry enough to dump a tub of frozen yogurt over my head. What if she wasn't crazy at all? What if I deserved it? And then I think back to the conversation with Aaron and Bear. There are two sides to every story, and Mom is taking the opposite one. But that shouldn't surprise me. Her kid got in trouble, major trouble, if the community service is any indication. Okay, it wasn't a very nice thing to do, I admit, but I don't understand why the school had to make such a big deal out of it. She stares at me. How can you, of all people, say that after everything that's happened? Maybe because I don't remember everything that's happened, Mom. I shook back. They were firecrackers, not grenades. It was a prank. My mother's expression becomes hard. Never mind the poor musician you practically put into cardiac arrest. The problem was the auditorium of people that thought they were under attack. It was pure luck that nobody got injured in the panic. And I'm sure that's what Dr. Fitzwallace was thinking when he decided to bring in the police. I hear Mom tell the story and I feel ashamed. But if you go by Aaron and Bear, it was a nothing gag that the school blew out of proportion because they were out to get us. Who's telling the truth? Is Mom making it sound worse to scare me straight? Because as Dad says, she's coddling me. When I got amnesia, I lost 13 years of myself. I have to replace these memories using what I can pick up from other people. But everyone has a slightly different version of me. Mom, Dad, my friends, the kids at school, even frozen yogurt girl. For all I know, the lunch ladies know me better than anyone else. Who should I believe? And that's the end of chapter 5. Powerful. A lot of revelations coming. A lot of things that are coming down, raining down on Chase. His past, his confrontation with his mother. You know, this is really good on point of view here. The story is loaded with metaphors, using terms like calling, saying that Chase is an alpha rat, or saying that he is an apex predator, calling the lunch table a lion's den, and point of view. Each chapter is from a different point of view, from a different character. But this story is all about point of view. This story is about Chase's point of view, what he is experiencing. We are seeing through his eyes what's going on with him. And we are also being privy to the people around him, their point of view. And this was a great example here. Bear and Aaron, this prank they pulled with cherry bombs and a piano. We know what happened. We already know the story from earlier chapters. But Aaron and Bear, when they tell the story, it was just a prank that everybody blew out of proportion. It was nothing. Where, of course, we know that it freaked out everybody, including poor Joel, who was playing the piano at the time. Shards of splintering wood, and it was just terrible. So different points of view on the same event. According to Bear and Aaron, they're schmucks too. That's my point of view on those characters, but they are saying that it was no big deal. And then here's Mom wanting to keep the real story from him. You're listening to these friends. They're telling you it was just a piano. What about the kid playing the piano, and all the people who were panicking? So excellent story, great writing, metaphors, similes, and point of view is amazing. It's a lot to take in, but it's a lot of awesomeness to take in. Chase has a lot to think about. The last line, and I love when this happens. You've got paragraph after paragraph after paragraph, and then it ends with this line. Sometimes an author will make an entire paragraph, will reserve an entire paragraph for a word, for a sentence. And in this case, that's what Gordon Corman does, because it's important. Chase says, "Who should I believe?" Can't wait to find out. So anyway, join me again for chapter 6. Take care. Keep your hands away from your nose, eyes, mouth. Stay in. Use your mask. Be creative. Have fun. Don't make your parents crazy. And I'll see you again. Bye-bye.